Versatile Mage. Chapter 72. The incredible life starts now. The amount of time Mo Fan could endure meditating was already much longer than most people. With the assistance of the Stardust magic tool, he could cultivate for 12 hours a day without any problem. However, the time a person had was still limited. Even if a higher grade Stardust magic tool allowed him to cultivate for an even longer period, it wouldn't mean much. It's not like Mo Fan would meditate for 24 hours a day. After experiencing combat, Mo Fan understood that if a magician relied solely on meditation to increase their strength, it would not be enough. On the contrary, experiencing battle, facing life-threatening circumstances, and having the thirst to become stronger when confronted by a powerful foe all contributed to a steady, definite increase in the strength of his Stardust. Thus, Mo Fan needed to maintain a long daily cultivation time while also participating in hunter team operations. If an even higher grade Stardust magic tool only increased a mage's cultivation time, it would not be very effective for someone like Mo Fan, who could already cultivate for 10 or more hours a day. What went beyond Mo Fan's expectations was that the spirit grade Stardust magic tool not only allowed him to meditate continuously, but also directly nourished his Stardust to a certain degree. When he was not meditating, his Stardust could still slowly grow. When he did meditate, the growth effect on his Stardust was even greater than normal. Mo Fan had already gained the ability to meditate for longer periods, and now with boosted effects from meditation, his power was increasing like a rocket. Awesome. If it's like this, then not only will I be able to advance my fire spell to the 3rd level before I graduate, but my lightning spells will also reach the 3rd level. If I work even harder, I might even touch the threshold of becoming an intermediate mage. When the stars reached level 3, it signified that the Stardust was not far from transforming into a nebula. Mo Fan had already researched many things concerning intermediate mages. The element first formed within a magician's spiritual world was known as Stardust. When the Stardust turned into a nebula, the star orbits would appear more magnificent and bright. This meant the magician had reached the intermediate level. The nebula was much larger than the Stardust. If the Stardust was just a tiny, sparkling speck in the vast universe, then the nebula was a cloud where starlight converged. The nebula contained much more mana, signifying that the mighty intermediate magicians could rip open the vast sky and arrive grandly. When you linked the stars within a Stardust, they became primary magic spells. When you formed a star map with the stars within a nebula, they became intermediate magic spells. Mo Fan would never forget when the intermediate mage named Yang Zue cast his intermediate magic. Beneath his feet was an incomparably mysterious and magnificent star map. It was different from the radiance of a star path, stranger, mightier, and filled with enough power to earn the boundless admiration of all magicians still hovering at the primary level. The intermediate water magic, violent wave, that could wash an entire street, and the intermediate wind magic, wind disk, that could lift a one-eyed magic wolf as heavy as a car more than 10 meters into the sky, not to mention how cool they looked. Their strength was abnormal, on a whole different level from primary spells. If just wind and water intermediate magic are that amazing, then wait until I've mastered lightning and fire intermediate spells, then who would need to be afraid of the Mu family? Let's diligently cultivate. Mo Fan, my incredible life has only just started. The winter wind was blowing smoothly from the north. Everywhere it went, the trees shed the leaves that covered them, greeting the breeze with bare branches. In the south, the flora wasn't affected as much by winter winds. No matter how strong the wind, the trees stayed green and vibrant. A few falling leaves were merely a polite nod to the seasons. Mo Fan was in Bo City, a place without distinct seasons. Even when they did appear, the change often meant that Father Typhoon was coming. It was yet another typhoon season. Mo Fan and his friends curled up in the dorms. The moist, cold building, with its faint musty smell, was mostly silent. Most students were working hard for next year's Magic High exams. What no one realized was that a mere magician graduating high school would still need to struggle in society. Without aiming for a higher position, it became harder to advance in magic. Those who truly wanted to stand out and gain respect had to enter a magic university, where the chances of becoming an intermediate magician were much higher. Intermediate magician. This was a magician's one chance to completely change their life. All the students were doing their best to strive for it. Big Brother Mo Fan, I awakened the healing element. So if you ever get injured, I can use magic to heal you, came a text message, along with an adorable smiling face. Mo Fan was slightly astonished. What the heck? What is this? Healing element. How did you awaken that? All of us awakened a basic element, so how come you awakened light magic during your primary awakening? Mo Fan quickly texted back. The vast majority of first awakenings are basic elements. However, there are a few exceptions. I heard that some people can use unusual items to conduct their awakening, giving them a definite chance to awaken a certain magic element, Yi Xingxia replied. Conduct awakening. If I reach intermediate level and want to awaken an element, couldn't I use this conduction method? Mo Fan felt as if his eyes had been opened to a whole new world. You can, but you need to gather the conduction materials. Xingxia, I love you to death, you just helped me solve a huge problem. Mo Fan's dull mood instantly brightened. He had always thought awakening was random, that whatever element you got was final. He never imagined there would be something like awakening conduction in this world. That meant when he reached intermediate level and gained the chance to awaken a second element, he could use this method to obtain the dark element. The window of magic was opening wider and wider for Mo Fan. Each time it opened, he saw a future he yearned for, driving him to cultivate passionately. The progress of his lightning and fire stardusts had gone smoothly, advancing several times faster than he had expected. Especially after meditating and participating in hunter team battles, he had pulled far ahead of many of his peers. Still, this wasn't something to boast about. On the day of the Magic High exams, his peers would be so shocked that their jaws would hit the cement floor. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.